with a star allegedly arrested and more. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. As the debut episode of AEW Collision is set for this week, former WWE writer Vince Russo had this to say about it. Tony Khan is buying the television time, period. End of story. This is a billionaire. Money is not an object thing, and he is paying TBS and TNT more money than they could make in advertising for those shows. I worked with television executives. I was working with freaking USA Network a year ago. A year ago, I was having conversations with those running USA Network. You're not going to reward a franchise when you have a history of ratings that continue to go down. Talking about the possibility of a brand split between AEW Dynamite and Collision, Andrade told the Please Steal Our Ideas podcast, "I don't know yet, but I hope the shows will be separate. I hope they make a new title, maybe separate the brands like it's another company. I hope that Dynamite, the roster, and the talent, Collision, this new brand for AEW, I wish for the shows to be separate. I don't know yet, I wish, I hope so, too, because this is a new brand. We need new goals. If we have different titles, it's good because you can compete for the title. I think it's good. I love the idea because this is more opportunities for the roster, more storylines for the titles. I think maybe in the future or maybe soon, new titles is a good idea. I hope the office or the writers will hear this. Yeah, 100%, we need a new title." During an interview with Brandon Walker of Barstool Wrestling, AEW president Tony Khan was asked about having stars be exclusive to Collision as he said, "I'm going to feature certain talent on certain shows, but I haven't drawn any hard lines or locked us into any kind of split of a roster. I think people are going to be featured on certain shows, but I also think that gives us a great opportunity to showcase certain wrestlers on both Dynamite and Collision at certain times, and certain stories that can cross the shows. I think the champions of AEW will be the champions on every show and frankly every promotion in the world. We're not shy about the AEW wrestlers going out and taking on the top stars, top competition from other companies. The roster we have is so strong. I believe we have so many great wrestlers, it's impossible to showcase them all in 3 hours of television. Now, it's a much better opportunity with 5 hours of television. Across 5 hours of television, we can really utilize the roster much more frequently and utilize our great wrestlers more than they've ever been used before, so I'm very excited." Khan would also be asked about the return of CM Punk set for the end of this week, with him noting that, "Well, I think it will be very exciting to see how the fans react, but I expect a very positive reaction, particularly in Chicago for the first episode. And I think then going forward, CM Punk is one of the most popular wrestlers in the world, so certainly he's going to get a great reaction, and depending on who his opponent is and the type of reaction he's trying to get, I expect CM Punk to connect with the crowd as well as anybody in the entire pro wrestling business. He has an amazing connection with the fans, and I think that's part of longevity and his mystique in his amazing connection with the crowd. CM Punk is a really great wrestler and very excited to have him back in AEW starting this Saturday night on TNT on AEW Collision. When talking about her time off recovering following an injury, Thunder Rosa told NBC Chicago, "It's going pretty well. Things are going as they are supposed to go. I am super happy that I've been pain-free. That was the most important part. I think it took forever. I think everybody's expecting me to give them news, but I'm working out every day, trying to get back in the ring as soon as possible, and if it's possible." Asked about making an appearance for WWE at some point, UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesayna told the MMA Hour, "The only thing is, I like to be the author of my own story. I'll do a couple cameos. I'll come from under the ring or whatever, just appear. But to be a guy that is in there and then have someone write my story and I'm this, I'm that, I feel like it's just not my forte, but I'll do a few cameos." Mentioning his recovery from injury and a return to WWE action down the line, Kofi Kingston told the Battleground podcast, "I'm actually in Orlando right now doing some rehab on my ankle. I had ankle surgery to remove a bone chip and fix a ligament after the massive Scottish behemoth of a man Drew McIntyre landed on my leg and my body went east and my leg went west and my ankle was completely sprained. But they took out some bone chips and fixed the ligament and now I'm on the mend. Somewhere in between a robot and a zombie and so somewhere in between I'm working my way back to the fold. So it's all good." That is good to hear that actually March 17th, obviously a day after March 16th, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm really bad with dates and stuff. It would be 12 weeks on Friday, 12 weeks post-op. I'm doing really well. I actually had this same surgery on the same ankle about 6 years ago to have bone chips removed. So I feel like this time around, I kind of know what to expect. And I've been kind of ahead of schedule for the most part. And I'm really able to do a lot of normal people things and live normal life. So now it's just a matter of trying to go to the next level and do WWE superstar things, you know what I mean, in the ring, things like that. So I've been in Orlando for the past week, just kind of seeing where I'm at, and things are looking pretty good. So hopefully sooner than later you'll see me in the ring, but you are going to see me, hosting the Panthers. With it not known if Elias has re-signed with WWE or when he will appear next time on programming, Ringside News noted that Elias hasn't been around WWE for a while. "We can confirm that the WWE creative team hasn't heard his name come up. No ideas are being openly pitched for Elias at this time. His current contract status is also unknown, and that goes for Ezekiel too." Talking about his time spent in the gym following his career in pro wrestling coming to an end, Tyson Kidd told McGuire on Wrestling, "Here's what I don't think people quite understand, but I wrestled close to exactly 20 years. I get where you see these things and think that it means I'm coming back, but the truth is when you have something like that for such a long period of time, for me, wrestling was always a physical outlet. I feel like I needed to replace that physical outlet and I upped my time and intensity in the gym a little bit." When asked about a possible return to the ring, Tyson replied, "Yeah, it's so funny. I answer this all the time and then people don't believe it, and I understand why. We've seen so many people say that they're retired or whatever and they come back, and that's great, that's cool. It's not in the cards for me. I have a different injury than most people." It appears that a former NXT star has signed a deal with AEW, as it was reported that EJ Nduka is no longer a free agent and hasn't been for quite some time. The former WWE and MLW talent became a free agent at the start of 2023 when he amicably left Major League Wrestling upon his contract expiring. Fightful has learned that Nduka is signed with All Elite Wrestling after making his company debut back in January, facing Konosuke Takeshita. Nduka hasn't been in the ring since then, but was seen around WrestleMania weekend festivities. We're told that he's been under some sort of AEW deal for quite a while. Fightful had reported that Nduka had interest from WWE as well as companies in Mexico and Japan. However, we're told that when James Kimball was fired from WWE, that a lot of the possible hires he was looking at weren't followed up on. AEW was immediately interested in Nduka upon his debut. A fan recently took to Twitter to make it known his unfortunate turn of events when it came to attending a WWE show, writing a tragic tale. One, got WWE tickets for WWE Charleston as a Father's Day gift to go with my 5-year-old son to solely see Cody Rhodes together. We get tickets on the entrance aisle so my son is close enough to maybe see Cody or get incredibly lucky to receive his weight belt. 2, his schedule comes out in early June and he's no longer slated to go to WWE Charleston. 3, heartbroken, we sell the tickets to at least recover some of the cost of the trip. 4 days before the event, a surprise announcement, he's coming after all. Tickets are gone. 5, no real way to get back to the event in any spot where Cody would connect with our son, so throwing this out into the universe, and maybe it will make its way to his phone. 6, either way, Cody Rhodes is going to break Finn Balor, and I'm glad the rest of West Virginia will get to see it. Cody would reply, a happy ending. 1, I was able to make WWE Charleston this Sunday possibility. Road Dogg got me there. 2, tickets are on me. Check your DMs. Can't wait to see you. On the Jim Cornette experience, a fan sent an email noting how Chris Jericho was seemingly arrested back in July, as it was noted that a good friend who is a police officer in the PSNI, the Police Service of Northern Ireland, contacted me and showed me body cam footage of a drunken, aggressive, and flexing man in the corridor of a local hotel in Belfast. The man in question was Chris Jericho. Police were called after reports of loud music, aggression towards hotel staff, and general disturbing of the peace coming from the hotel room he was staying in, and my friend was one of the officers to respond. My friend recognized Jericho and attempted to talk him down and calm the situation. Jericho raised his arms and flexed to show his dominance to the officers and stated, "Do you know who I am?" and similar phrases one would expect from an inebriated individual. He was then arrested by the officers. I believe he was released when he sobered up a few hours later, but this tickled me to no end. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.